we will welcome on stage Michał Lasocki, partner at EEC Ventures, Hussam Mansour, founder and CEO at WasteHero, Zuzanna Redyk, product manager at Reverse Logistic Group, Piotr Tokarski, media manager Remondis Polska, and panel discussion moderator Dominika, Noskiewicz, VP Business Development at Ecoloop Polska. I can see our panelists are ready for the discussion. So just 30 seconds, give us 30 seconds to prepare the stage for you. And we will start. Yes, so the water is almost ready. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to our panelists and our moderator. And the stage is prepared.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us today at the Urban Tech Forward. I'm truly honored to be here as the moderator of this panel, and I appreciate your presence here. My name is Dominika Noskiewicz, and for the last 6 years, I'm focusing on the waste management industry. I implemented projects for the collectors of the municipality waste, also for producer responsibility organization. And for the last 2 years, I'm focusing on the deposit return scheme implementation internationally. Today, we begin a journey into a rapidly evolving and data-driven area, one where technology, specifically digitalization and robotics, is revolutionizing the way we manage the challenges of urban waste. I wanted to give you some data on the waste that we generated. In 2020, the world generated approximately 2.02 billion metric tons of municipal solid waste. And that's equivalent to over 4 million elephants in weight. As our cities grow, this number continues to rise, bringing us to face with the urgent need for more efficient, more sustainable, and intelligent waste management solution. And our panel here today, Trash Talk, How Digitalization and Robotics Revolutionize the Dirty Business of Urban Waste, is dedicated to exploring precisely this transformative landscape. In this age of data-driven innovation, the age-old challenge of managing urban waste is being redefined. Digitalization and robotics are not only buzzwords, they are powerful agents of change. Today, we are privileged to hear from experts who are the front lines of this transformation, individuals who are harnessing data, technology, and automations to address one of the most pressing issues of our time. According to the recent report by the World Bank, by 2050, global waste generation is projected to exceed 3.4 billion metric tons annually, nearly double what it was in 2016. The adoption of digital technologies and robotics, it's no longer a luxury, it is a necessity. These technologies are not enhancing efficiency, but also reducing the environmental footprints of waste management. In this panel, we would like to focus on the waste management, and with our experts, talked in detail on which role they play in this industry. So let's start. Thank you all once again for joining us, and let this panel discussion started. So thank you very much for our panelists to join us today. I'd like to start with a questions that address, it will be question for Mr. Michał Lasocki from EEC Venture. And let's start. So, Mr. Michał, you've been deeply involved in the sustainability initiatives. Can you share how EEC Venture is contributing to more sustainable waste management practices in urban areas? It should already. It should work.
Okay, this one works. Thank you. So basically, my job is to find companies that have potential and they grow and they do useful things for people. So they have value, and once they have value, my job as a VC partner has been fulfilled. So much. Probably the best answer is to walk through our portfolio, where we have some companies which directly serve the purpose of sustainability, and some of them do it indirectly. What I mean by this is, obviously the most relevant company would be a company called Waste24, which we have invested 2 years ago. And basically this is a digital marketplace for waste industry. That means you can, as a customer, you download an app or you go to the website and you can order waste collection, including construction waste, including construction fencings, including mobile toilet stuff. And that serves the community, growing community of small construction companies and private homeowners who do renovations. Also, this company has developed a very interesting SaaS application to manage the fleet of waste trucks and waste containers. When you are an operator of such a fleet and you have tens of thousands of fixed assets deployed, it comes very handy to have an IT system that helps you manage it. The third domain of that company is something which is called smart waste bins, which allow optimization of efforts to collect and manage waste. So much about Waste24. Another company which is an example of sustainability is Solvena. This is this company which manages energy consumption for buildings. Buildings account for a huge amount of emissions globally, so decarbonizing buildings is a huge task, and Solvena is up to this task because they can save up to 30% of energy wasted and emissions which are associated with a particular building, like school, like factory, like warehouse, or like office building. So much for indirect impact. There are also 2 more or 3 companies that I'd like to present, which contribute to ESG philosophy in more indirect way. For instance, when it comes to circular economy, which is also extending lifespan of assets, there are 2 important things to remember. One of them is preventive maintenance, which is therefore part of circular economy. And we have a company called Reliability Solutions. And also, sooner or later, you'll find out that your assets, your systems are networked. So cybersecurity is a way to ensure an uninterrupted operation. And there is a company in our portfolio that deals with cybersecurity concerning SCADA systems. And final company that I'd like to announce is a company which produces 3D printers. What is it in common? Obviously, it's rapid prototyping and improved possibility to roll out designs of your new products, which in my opinion contributes greatly to sustainability and ESG goals. So much for our portfolio, and this is my daily job, is to grow this and to make sure that they succeed.
Thank you very much. I think circular economy is really important, and we're talking about waste today. So it's important to understand that we have to go through this transition to be more circular. Mr. Hussam, if I could please ask you a question. So as the founder of WasteHero, you've been at the forefront of developing waste management solution. What inspired you to create your innovative waste management solution, and what impact has it had so far?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's so the founder story. How did I start WasteHero? It's interesting story. How do you get into waste management? Actually, I was sitting at the university 7 years ago and looking outside of the window, and we could see this one trash bin. It was always emptied when it was empty. So the truck came and it just emptied an empty bin, right? And we started looking into, that was pretty frustrating. And we actually started looking into this trash vehicle and found out that the most polluting vehicle that drives around is actually the trash vehicle, because it's when it's loaded with trash, it has a very heavy load, and it stops a lot of times in traffic light, right? When it's red, it drives inside of the city, so it pollutes a lot. So that's kind of how it started. We developed the sensor back then, we kind of pivoted from the sensor, but we could see based on the data that in 9 out of 10 times, the bins are actually being collected at the wrong time. So they're either collected when they're empty or they're collected when they're overflowing and creating contamination and etc. So we started back then putting in sensors and optimizing the routes, and we started saving 75% of the number of collections on specific waste fractions, just utilizing the technology. You know, since then we've pivoted to become more hardware agnostic, tackling bigger challenges in waste, but that was kind of how we started, and the quick impact we managed to achieve already.
Thank you very much. So you bring efficiency to this system. So maybe next question for Zuzanna. Zuzanna Redyk, product manager from Reverse Logistics Group. As a product manager, you're on the intersection of technology and policy. Can you explain how well-crafted policies can encourage the integration of digitalization and robotics in waste management?
Thank you, Dominika. Yes, I'm happy to be here today. Thank you. And certainly, yes, because as a product manager, I think well-crafted policies and policy regulations can act as a catalyst for integration of technologies like digitalization and automation. First of all, what I can say on my examples, first of all, I think we suffer from lack of the stabilization of law regulation, and we lack of the standardization as well. And policymakers has this power to set the standards framework and effective regulations. Policy also can define that safety, performance, and environmental standards that digital products can meet and should meet. So this part is also very helpful because this action creates the confidence between both waste management companies and the public as well, and it gives us impression of the quality of that product. Another point that government can do is to offer some financial benefits like tax breaks or other subsidies that could help to that could help. Other is also the environmental targets that government can set, which is emission reduction or waste reduction or collection and recycling rates can go up, and also it is usually set by government in the regulations. Another excellent, in my opinion, supporting tool is to use education and build awareness, because currently society don't trust technology that much, and it's also a new market. So it's a government job to do it, and I think talking to stakeholders, to enterprises, to waste management companies, and recovery organization, and also to the society may really help, because they could have a active impact on decision making, and it can make it more efficient. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, I think also this is really interesting. I don't know if we will have time, but security is one of the things that is raised by people when we start to digitalize the waste management industry. My last question in this round is for Mr. Piotr Tokarski from Remondis, Polska. As a part of Remondis, you have hands-on experience with waste management technologies. Can you share practical examples of how digitalization and robotics have improved waste collection and disposal process?
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for the invitation. Briefly, just to give you the information what Remondis is, we are one of the 5 the biggest companies in the waste management business around the world. We are operating in almost all the continents except Americas. Here in Poland, we've got already now 70 places. Polish market is the second biggest after Germany, where we have our headquarters. Let me look at my phone because I don't want to miss everything what I want to tell you. Because internet today, digitalization, it's very helpful. And also in the waste management, because maybe for the first sight it's not so fancy or sexy, but still there are the possibilities, and we can give you the example from 2 parts. First is just for the common people who are touching it every day, because you can find the apps, for example, which give you the information that today it will be the collecting of your bins. There are several very popular apps in Poland, like Ecoharmonogram or Blisko. So this will give you the information every single day, what kind of fraction it will be taken, if it will be the bulky waste, for example. We've got also, you can search the waste in the internet also, because very many people are coming to the bins and they don't know where they should put that waste, so you can easily find it already now in the internet also. Last thing, for example, in our company, we've got the special website, decydujesz.pl, so you are deciding, just to translate it to English, and that's the service where you can just order the service just to take your, I don't know, the old fridge or some bulky waste, and they will come to your house, they will take it, you don't want to need think about it. So that's the first part where, for example, the technology just, it's given to the normal common people. And the second part, what we can talk about, it's the technology which doesn't touch the common people, but it's much more for the local municipalities or the government. We are not buying the apps because from sometimes we've got our hub in Hamburg, Germany, which are inventing, let's say, the special apps. We've got, for example, the app Data Fleet, which is given to the truck. They are going around the city, gaining the data about very many things, like, for example, I don't know, the broken road sign, illegal waste, for example. And normally, very many people have to go around the city, look what is happened there, and waste management trucks, they are going every single day, so they can do it just like during their normal work. So it's very useful. Also, we have the app Cortexia, so it's the digital measurement of cleanliness in the cities. You can it's made with the special sensors and the cameras, which you can put also to public transport or even the bicycles. So they are also going around the city, and this is very, very, very useful. And the last thing which I want to mention is our app, which we call, or the name, Binity. So it's the special system for the bins and the containers, where you can easily recognize if it's low or it's empty. Nowadays, when we have also the Internet of the Things, you can plug your container to the internet, and it will give you very quickly information if it's already low, and that's very useful during the time of preparing the schedules, for example, for the trucks, and so on and so on. So I think it's technology now. It's very useful also for the waste management companies.
Thank you very much. So my next question is to Mr. Michał Lasocki. So how does digitalization and robotics align with the broader goals of the sustainability, and what potential environmental benefits do these technologies bring to the table?
Well, I think they are fundamental building blocks of the change we are trying to effect. So just to name a few obvious cases, we are working towards resource efficiency, which means digitizing things, collecting data, analyzing data, optimizing processes. We are also into energy efficiency, which means we are wasting huge amounts of energy, and if we do not manage it properly, it will stay that way, hopefully not. We could also use any means of emissions reductions, and by what I mean, for instance, telepresence. You can put a lot of your activity online via Zoom calls, just like Zoom calls, and then, for instance, you find you don't need to HVAC your office because it's half empty. That's a noticeable change in emissions as well. You also save on travels. Then you use robots, for instance, to source waste. I don't think anyone is excited sorting their waste. I am not. I hate sorting waste in my kitchen, but robots do, actually. There's no problem with robots doing. They do it faster, better, more efficiently. Yes, so robotics is there. An interesting case could be, for instance, precision farming. Farming is a source of a lot of inefficiencies, waste, and emissions as well. And robotizing that, I mean precision farming, robotic farming, is also something which is to be thought about. I mentioned also extension of lifetime of assets, which, to repeat myself, is purely predictive maintenance. It's cybersecurity, but also end-of-life management. When you take apart old stuff and you use robots again for this, because they may be faster and more efficient than humans. Sensors, collecting data about environment, about what you do. So basically, you think you're doing something right, but only when you measure that and prove it, you are sure you're doing this right. So this list goes on, and every day there is someone coming up in our fund and giving on yet another example that we haven't thought about. So it's endless. Possibilities are endless.
Thank you very much. So we can make decisions based on evidence that are gathered by all of the solutions. So, Mr. Hussam, can you discuss the challenges and the opportunities of bringing technology solutions to the waste management sector, especially in terms of creating a more efficient and cost-effective approach?
Yeah, of course. I think just from a high level, I think you mentioned some of the points from the beginning that, we are creating more and more waste, 4 million elephants or 3.6 million waste, 3.6 million kilos a minute. It's a lot of waste that is being created. Actually, less than 20% of waste today is recycled in Europe. And, for us to achieve the 2030 targets, we need to at least recycle 73% by 2030. And, one of the ways that is being done right now is that we saw it in Denmark last year. We have legislated that now you will, although you don't want to, sort in 10 different fractions in your household. So now you'll have 10 different bins. In the UK, you have 8 different bins now. You do have some sort of privatization of these municipal waste companies to go out in utilities. So you do see some sort of push because we do need to do something about it. And as soon as we start recycling more, that means more bins out of the household, more bins at the properties. That means the logistics will exponentially increase the complexity of it. And we have actually chosen to tackle the problem from a very different approach. We looked at one of our customers. They have 13 million collections a year, so 13 million. And we see that the main problem for them is not what they plan, but anything that they didn't plan for. So these deviations that occur. So we can see that 20% of our clients, they have deviations. So when they have 13 million collections, they have 2.6 million deviations. So deviations is stuff like an overflowing bin, or a broken bin, or an angry citizen, or a vehicle that broke down, anything you didn't account for, but you actually sit down as a waste authority and you spend your time fixing during the day, doing it ad hoc, and that's very inefficient. And I think that's one of the main challenges, is that these deviations cost a lot and they're only increasing because logistics is increasing. It's going to be more complex. And we see a huge absence of connected systems and digitization in this space that is able to, automate some of these workflows that needs to be done in order to realize what needs to be done with the current infrastructure. Just to give you one example. So today, if a citizen don't get their bin collected, they come home, they're very angry. Like, why didn't this be collected, right? They might have missorted the waste, so it's not, legally they can't collect it. And then it starts getting overflowing, so they call and they're very angry. Why isn't my bin not, and collected? And someone very nice in the customer service will just send out a truck. Oh, sorry so much, and then we send out a truck. That cost maybe $100, $150, just for one single deviation, right? And you know about this, right? It's crazy. And so, but if you had, digitized the whole value chain, as soon as this bin was not collected, the citizen would get a notification on an app. Hey, sorry, we didn't collect it because, the vehicle was broken, or you missorted your waste. Here's a picture of it, and then we automatically plan this deviation into the route in the most optimal way. And so this is the stuff that we try to work with, is to try to digitize the value chain and connect the systems together so that the data can flow to the right stakeholders at the right time in order for us to give a better service to the citizen, to have a low churn in the workforce in terms of, because nobody wants to sit and take angry phone calls all day in the municipalities, and generally optimize the route, reduce fuel consumption. But also, as you mentioned, once we start digitizing the value chain, we also know how much waste everybody is producing. We can start communicating through that app. Hey, this is how much you're recycling this month. Can you do this to recycle more next month? Your neighborhood is recycling this and that much. So I think one key word is digitizing the value chain, essentially, and utilizing that data across the value chain to realize efficiency.
Yes, thank you very much. So my next question is for Zuzanna. What specific policy measures have proven effective in supporting the implementation of technology solution in waste management? And how can governments strike a balance between regulation and innovation?
Okay, so the first part of this question, I can say more about the Polish example, where a few policy measures have been introduced to support that kind of technology implementation. And the one example is extended producer responsibility system. And under this scheme, manufacturers and importers of packaging products and electronic products become responsible also for collecting and recycling waste from exactly this product. So thanks to this solution, they are forced and motivated to design more sustainability and produce more environmentally friendly products and packaging. Also, another example is the Law Act on Packaging Waste, which introduced the obligation for producers and importers of packaging products to participate in the packaging recovery and collection programs. So this is also example of a good practice, and it basically forces producers to achieve statutory levels of collection and recycling years each year, because if they don't do it, they need to pay a product fee. And after implementation of that policies, it pushed the Ministry of Environmental Protection to create a technological tool for monitoring waste. I am talking now about BDO register. BDO register is administered by Ministry of Environmental, but it is maintained by Marshal Office on daily basis, and entities and producers may only keep their waste forms, waste records in electronic forms and submit the annual reports on waste products and packaging management by this tool. So before this product was implemented, all of these producers, importers, waste management companies, and also Marshal Office, they did it 100% manually, usually in Excel and in traditional way, like on a paper. So it was a lot of work. So it's a good example of digitalization and how it can help the public policy in that case. Yeah. And the second part of the question?
The second part was if public engagement contribute to the successful adoption of technology solutions in waste management.
Okay, so I think finding a balance between these two requires a lot of flexibility at this moment, and open dialogue, and being open to the innovations, because government should consider, like I said before, engage stakeholders and get their opinion in this process of creating the regulations regarding the waste management innovations. And what else? Monitoring and analyzing, at least the impact of these regulations would also help, and maybe a long-term strategy for the next decades.
I think we will all agree that we need stability in all waste management regulation, especially in Poland. So my next question is to Piotr Tokarski. As a media manager, you play a role in communicating those innovations to the public. How can effective communication and public engagement contribute to the successful adoption of technology solution in waste management?
I've been the journalist for a very long time, so I know very well about it, that people like something what is very new, especially in the technological part. So of course the communication about all these apps, something new what is in the waste management world is very important, and people really like it. But we especially are focused in ecological education, because we think that it's the good way to start it from the beginning, and then to implement to the people not only the good habits, but also that's the possibility to show them all the new things. Especially young people, they know very well how to use it, and for us it's also possibility, and we want to give us also the possibility to show it to their parents, to the older people, because it's much more easier when someone from your family is coming and tell you, okay, I know something what is fancy, what is very new, and maybe we can use it because it looks very good. So we've got our programs, the educational programs starts even in the kindergarten. So that's the first touch with the waste management. And after we are going step by step in the primary school, of course, we've got even the programs for the secondary schools. Last month, probably, we had the workshops for the diplomats who are coming for the next chief to Warsaw. So this educational, this environmental education, it's very important for us, and it's also the special possibility to talk about something what is new in our waste management world.
Thank you very much. So we left with 10 minutes. I wanted to ask if someone from the audience would like to ask any questions. And if not, we will have our last round of questions, but please make sure that you have only 2 minutes to answer them. So let's start with Mr. Michał Lasocki. What advice would you give to other organizations looking to integrate digital technologies and robotics into their waste management strategies while keeping sustainability in mind?
Well, those will be IT projects for sure. So this is kind of a universal experience from IT. First of all, speak to people, because superficially they will agree with you that the change is necessary, and then you find out they are afraid of it. They don't have time, or they don't want to learn new ways of doing things, or they are just afraid of the unknown. So you have to win their hearts to convince them that the benefits outweigh the inconveniences. Otherwise, they will be against that and they will sabotage it. That's not an IT issue, but it's a, let's say, psychological issue. Second, do your homework, collect as much data, do not make assumptions, analyze things. Then, once you collect those data, don't spare any time, just analyze them very well. So you just think you know what you're doing, but if you look at the data, you may be completely wrong. So don't make any assumptions, do an analysis. Then also do pilots, do small-scale pilots, iterate. Learn from your mistakes, don't go for a full-scale disaster. That's another lesson learned, yes. And lastly, use robots, automate tasks. Don't forget about cybersecurity. Don't forget about preventive maintenance, and communicate. Whatever you do, communicate.
Thank you very much. And Mr. Hussam, how do you envision the future of waste management in urban areas with the ongoing advancement in technology, and what role does WasteHero play in this vision?
I think, thank you. I think we're going to see a little bit more focus on engaging citizens in the utility sector in broad. I think energy, water, waste as well. As we collect more data and we give them to the officials that work with them, and that's also what we see, that it's a different kind of waste. Was very unsexy 10, 20 years ago. It's becoming more sexy now, and we need a different type of talent to actually engage these citizens. So that's what I envision, is that you move away from Excel and sticky notes, and try to automate a lot more of the task, and then instead you utilize the data and the way that to kind of engage with the broader stakeholder. And the way that WasteHero is on a mission to support that is to empower these people that sit with this responsibility with digital tools to be able to use the data.
Thank you very much. So, Zuzanna, how can you ensure the policies and regulation keep pace with the rapid advancements in waste management technology to maximize the environment and economic benefits?
I think there is no one good question no answer for that, because there will always be some gap, bigger or smaller, hopefully smaller. I think what we should ensure is that local government is the one entity which is responsible for creation the effective ecosystem. I mean ecosystem in terms of business-friendly environment. But anyhow, it always works both ways. So tech companies that offer the solutions must understand that the city wants the solution that is tailored to them, not repeatable, again, the same system that is not compatible with the other tools that they are using in their ecosystem. And as we see in the past few years, the digitalization is going forward. The cities are using it, and they are trying to improve the processes and really like do something with that. So yeah, hopefully it will go forward. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Mr. Piotr Tokarski, what is the future of waste management industry as automation and robotics become more common?
Oh, that's a hard question, but we as a Remondis, we are not only the waste management company, but also we have to be the logistics company. So, for example, now in Poland, we've got a really big lack of the drivers. They want to work in the long distance trucks, but not very much operate in the cities, for example. So I think the future could be the AI trucks without the drivers. I think it's a big goal for us. Also, we are talking now very many about the electric trucks with the gas. So now, even in the tender, it's written that some percent of the trucks which are operating in the city, they have to be electrical, for example, or with the gas. So that's the one thing. And the second one, it's very funny because we just saw it in the last month. Some company invented the robot who can help us. It looks like if you watch the Star Wars, so it's like R2-D2, this small robot. It have 2 wheels and also something like hand, and it can be useful, for example, in the place where you have to collect the bin, but the ground is unstable. It's a very hard work for the people who have to pull it for the really long distance. So now there is also the possibility that they will just use it, that robot, and that robot will come with the bin, so it could be much more easier. And we will see. That's the beginning, and the end, who knows?
Thank you very much, and thank you very much for all of our panelists, for your valuable insights, and to all of you who actively participate in this session. And together we can turn this trash talk into the conversation that leads us to a cleaner and more sustainable urban future. Thank you very much for today.